Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purana Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badvarayanam Sutra Bhasha Kritav Vande Bhagavantav Punah Punaha. Page number, today it happens to be Monday, and therefore we are doing Upadesha Sahasri, 161 page number 161. Something cannot become something else. It is not possible. And then 37th page, 37th verse, 161 page, 37th verse, but we are going to do 36th verse onwards. 36 only. Vivichya asmat swam atmanam Vindyat Shuddham Param Padam Drashtaram Sarvabhutastam Samam Sarva Bhayatigam. And then 37th verse also it goes into the same line. Samastam Sarvagam Shantam Vimalam Vyomavat Sthitam Nishkalam Nishkriyam Sarvam Nityam Dvandvai Vivarjitam. Vivichya means separating. Vivichya means Vivek Karke. Vivek Karke. Vivichya. Asmat means from this body. Swam Atmanam. Swam means one's existence, which is Atma, one's existence. Vindyat. Vindyat means let one know. Let one understand one's own existence, the Atma, the self, by discriminating from this body, by discerning from this body. It is not the body. That it is not the body. It is unlike the body. It is other than the body. It is distinct from the body. Vindyat Shuddham Param Padam. It is pure. And therefore you have to know. Adhyasa is that I am Deha. The limitation is due to the body. Body is only impure. Body is limited. Body is the object. So the subject being misunderstood as the object. That is called Adhyasa. And that Adhyasa has to be negated. And to negate the Adhyasa, you have to unwind the thing. Now that there is a binding, that the subject is mistaken to be the body. Subject is identified with the body, and therefore the subject has to be separated from the body. That is what is called unwinding the Adhyasa. Vivichya asmat swam atmanam vindyat. Let one understand. And what is Atma? Shuddham Param Padam. Shuddham, it is pure. Because as in contrast to the body, anything is pure. In contrast to the body, not like the body. In contrast to the body, it is Shuddham. In contrast to the body, it is Shuddham. And Param Padam is the absolute abode, the abode of the universe. Param Padam is the timeless abode. Param Padam, Param is timeless. Padam means abode. Drashtaram, it is none other than the seer. It is none other than the seer. And therefore, you don't have to think that it is something that is away from you. It is something that is in heaven, etc. And Parampadam, Drashtaram, Sarvabhutastam. And it is a Drashta being the seer is the material for everything. And therefore, its presence is in everything. Sarvabhutastam, it's present in every object. It's present in every object as the Adhishtanam. It is present in every object as Adhishtanam. Adhishtanam means like the rope is the Adhishtanam for the Sarpa. In that manner, the rope is the Adhishtanam for the Sarpa. And this Sarpa is the temporal. It is temporal. Whereas the rope is the timeless. In the same manner, here also the self is timeless. The universe is temporal. Sarvabhutastam, Samam, it is the same. Sarvavapinam, Sarvavapi, Sarvabhayatigam, Sarvabhayatigam. It is Sarvabhayatigam means it is something, it is free from all the fear. It is free from the fear. Sarvabhayatigam. It is free from the fear. Why? Because it is drashta. The body may come and go. The body's death is not my death. The body's birth is not my birth. The body's impurity is not my impurity. I am distinct from the body. And this is exactly what it means. Sarvabhayati. That means, in contrast to the body, it is pure. In contrast to the body, it is unlimited. In contrast to the body, it is sarvabhayatikam. Every fear is can only be traced to the body's death. The body is dead. The body aham dehe pushte aham pushtaha. Dehe nashte aham nashtaha. Dehe pushte, when the body is healthy, I am healthy. When the body is gone, I am gone. And therefore there is a fear of death. Every fear is only fear of death. And therefore the fear cannot be defined as fear of anything else. Even the fear of snake is only fear of death. The fear of tiger is only fear of death. The fear of ghost is also fear of death. The fear of eating food, the fear of fasting is also the fear of death. There is only fear for death, fear of death. And that is only due to adhyasa, identification with the body. Otherwise, it is free from the fear. Atma is free from the fear. Samastam, and it is samastam means it is everything. It is everything. It is everything. Being the material for everything, it is everything. Being like the rope is the material for the snake, and therefore the entire snake is non-separate from the rope. In the same manner here, the entire universe, the material is the Atma, and therefore the material is the Samastam. It is not only in the universe, it is the whole universe. Samastam, Sarvagam, and we can say it is Sarvagam. It is present in every Sarvagam means it is present. It is not gone. It is free from the fear. It is free from the thought and emotion, etc. It is free from karma, and therefore there is no going. There is sarvagam means sarvatra gacchati. Sarvatra gacchati should be understood as sarvatra asti. It alone is sarvatra asti. What is Atma. What is Atma. Sarvatra Vyapa, Sarvagam. Sarvagam should be understood as it is present in every object. It is present in space, it is present in air, it is present in fire, present in water, and present in earth, and present in elemental also. And therefore that means the whole universe, just as the space is present in all the four elements, that the Atma is present in all the five elements. Shantam. Prapanchopshamam Shantam Shivam Advaitam. Shantam means it is peaceful. It exists, it's a existence. It is existence, Shantam. It is peaceful. It is peaceful because in contrast to the body. As the body, you are never peaceful. As a jiva, you are never peaceful. You are all the time struggling, and therefore it is not possible to be peaceful. And therefore, when a person says, I am peaceful, he means only relatively peaceful. Relative peace means relative sorrow. Relative struggle is there. Kartrutvam is there. Kartrutvam has to be there. He doesn't know that he is existence. He doesn't know that he is existence. He knows only that he appears, he is a part of the universe. When he thinks that he is a part of the universe, then he is a creation. As a part of the universe means it is a part of creation, and therefore Shantam. In contrast to the body, it is peaceful. Vimalam, it is free from impurity. In contrast to the body, it is purity. Vyamavastitam. Vyamavat means like space, it is present. Space is not doing anything. Space cannot move. Space is. Space is just as space is. In the same manner, Atma is. Atma is. Atma, space is. In the same manner, Atma is. The space is means the space is in all the four elements. It's present in all the four elements. It is present in all the four elements means it's not locked up in all the four elements. All the four elements are present located in space. In the same manner, all the five elements are located in Atma. Just as the four elements are located in the space, the five elements are located in the self. Vimutstitam, Nishkalam. It is free from kalas. Kalas means parts. Atma, mind is considered to be Shodash Kalaha. Shodash Kalaha means the mind is Shodash Kalaha. Shodash Kalaha means the senses, etc. Even the willing to get up is also willing. It is a mental action. Pancha Karmendriyas, Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Prana, even breathing, even the involuntary, it is connected to the mind. And therefore, Shodash Kalaha. Mind is Shodash Kalaha. Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas, Pancha Pranas, and the mind. It is Shodash Kalaha. Shodash Kalaha. It is, but then it is divisible. It is divisible. Nishkala means indivisible. Indivisible is what is called Nishkalaha. Atma is indivisible. Whereas the body, in contrast to the body that is divisible, it is indivisible. And therefore, Nishkriyam, in contrast to the same body, the body is Kriyavan, it is Karta, and therefore it is an agent of action. It is an actor. Atma is not an actor. Nishkriya. Nishkriyam. It is indeed. Nishkriyam means it is free from all actions. It is actionless. Nishkriyam. Sarvam. It is everything. It is everything. Everything is in it. Everything is it. Everything has to be understood as it. Not it is everything. Everything is it. Not rope is snake. Rope is snake, but the snake is rope. That has to be understood. What is perceived has to be described and explained. What is perceived is the imperceptible. What is perceived is imperceptible. What is perceived universe is imperceptible with the Atma. That is not objectified. The objectifiable is one with Ananya. Ananya means the one inseparable from the unobjectifiable. The objectifiable is inseparable from the unobjectifiable Atma. Sarvam, Nityam, Nityam. We don't say that Atma is eternal. Everything is non-separate. Everything is non-separate from the eternal, the Atma. Everything is Samastam. Everything is Atma. Not Atma is everything. How do you know that Atma is everything? In the beginning itself. And therefore, during inquiry, you do not know your Atma. And therefore, everything has to be defined, everything has to be described. What is perceived has to be analyzed. What is perceived is understood as an Ananya with the Atma, and not inseparable from Atma. The universe is inseparable from Atma. The universe is inseparable from Atma. And that is what the Nityam. Nityam means it is eternal. Everything is inseparable from Atma, the eternal. Everything is inseparable from Atma, the eternal. Nityam. Dvandvair vivarjitam. It is free from the sense of division. It is free from the sense of division. Division is only a sense. It is only a sense. It's notional. Otherwise, there is no division. Advaitam is the nature of the self. Consciousness cannot be divided. You can only notionally divide. You can only have a notional sense of division, but there can't be real division. There is no real division because the nature of consciousness is non-division. Everything is non-separate from consciousness. Everything is inseparable from consciousness. And therefore, what appears to be other than you is also inseparable from you. And therefore, it is Dvandvair Vivarjitam. And this we have seen, 37th verse. And then 38th verse we have to see. Sarva Pratyaya Sakshi. Sarva Pratyaya Sakshi. Sarva, it is the witness of every thought. It is a witness of every thought. Witness means, here Sakshi means Sakshadikshate. It is seeing everything in its own light. Sarva Pratyaya Sakshi. It is the witness. It is Sarva Pratyaya Sakshi. It is independent. It is independent of Pramanas. It is Swatah Siddham. As Swatah Siddham, you can describe it as Sakshi. Sakshadikshate. It sees only in its own light. It doesn't see in the light of, it doesn't exist as Pramana Siddham. It exists only as Swatah Siddham. As Swatah Siddham, it is Sakshi Pratyaya. It sees every thought. It sees every thought as the Swatah Siddhatma. It as the Swatah Siddhatma sees every thought. And therefore, it is Sarva Pratyaya Sakshi. Jnaha. Jnaha. And it is Drashta. Jnaha means the one who understands. The one who understands is none other than Sarva Pratyaya Sakshi. He is indeed, he is Sarva Pratyaya Sakshi, and he is Jnaha. Janati iti Jnaha. Janati iti Jnaha means he is the one who understands. Jnaha. Sarva Pratyaya Sakshi. Jnaha. Katham Jnayaha. How can I know? Maya, by me. How can it be known by me? How can it be known? Iti ityuta. Putting a question to yourself. Ityuta means, is it possible? Is it something that, how can it be known by me? How can it be known by me? If it is something that is unlimited, unlimited means it cannot be an object of thought. It cannot be an object of word. It cannot be yato vacho nivartante aprape manasa saha. It is also said by the Shruti. And the logic also says, what is unlimited? I cannot objectify. What is limit? Because anything that is a Vyatireka Drishtantam, by Vyatireka Drishtantam means by reverse Drishtantam, I can only know the limited. Because I know the limited, if it is unlimited, I cannot know. I cannot objectify. Everything that I objectify has a beginning and end. And therefore, I cannot that which is beginningless and endless, I cannot know. I cannot objectify. And therefore, is it something, if Atma is unlimited, if it is still, is it something that is objectifiable? Is it something that is objectifiable by me or not objectifiable by me? In this manner, Vimrishya means iti, Vimrishya evam, in this manner thinking. Vimrishya means vimarsha karke, evam. In this manner, how do you know? Sarva Pratyaya Sakshi, I am the Swata Siddha Atma, Sakshi of every thought, and I am the I am Jnaha. Katham Jnayaha. I am the one who knows. How can I know myself? How can I objectify myself without becoming an object? If the Jnaha can become an object, then as an object it cannot know. How can the Jnaha can become the object? Jnaha cannot become an object. The one who understands, the one who sees cannot be the seen. If he becomes the seen, then he cannot see. He cannot be both the seer and the seen. If he is the seer, then he is not the seen. If he is the seen, he is not the seer. And therefore, iti vimrishya. Vimrishya means vimarsha karke vijaniyat. Let one understand. Vijaniyat. Let one understand. Jnana karma navayati va. Is it an object of knowledge or not? Is it an object of knowledge or not? In this manner, one has to understand. If it is not an object of knowledge, then it is a subject of knowledge. As an object of knowledge, it is matter. It is not matter, it is consciousness. All matter is inseparable from consciousness. That is different. That is different. But it is something that is not different from, no matter is different from, no matter is different from consciousness. And therefore consciousness am I. I am solely consciousness. I am not the body. In this manner one has to understand. And Atma is not an object of knowledge. It is not objectifiable. Iti, having understood, having done the vimarsha, one has to understand. Adrishtam, it is not something that is objectifiable. Adrishtam, adrishtam means next verse, Ji, 39th verse. Adrishtam, it is not something. Drishtam means what is seen. Adrishtam means it is not seen. Atma is not seen. It is the drashta. It is drashtu vijnatam. Drashtu vijnatam means it is not seen, and the scene is seen by the, the scene is seen by the drashta. It is known by the drashta. It is objectified by the drashta. Drashtra vijnatam. Drashtra vijnatam. Dabramityadivi shasanat. Dabram, in Kenopanishad it is said, if you think it is objectifiable, then you know very little. Dabram means a blade of grass. You know only a blade of grass. You don't know anything else. If you think that Atma is objectifiable, then you don't know Atma. In this manner, Dabramityavapi nonam, it is said. And the Kenopanishad says, so Atmanam chet, if you think that it is objectifiable, then you know only Dabram. Dabram means only a blade of grass. You know only a blade of grass. Naiva Gneyam, it is not something that it can be objectified. Maya, Anyerva, it cannot be objectified by me, nor can it be objectified by others. Even Bhagavan cannot objectify his own existence. Bhagavan can only is. Bhagavan cannot objectify. My Sanskrit teacher used to say, cannot Bhagavan commit suicide? No, he is eternal. And then if he cannot commit suicide, then he is limited. How can he be Sarvashaktiman? How can he be Sarvashaktiman? He used to say. When he is eternal, he cannot be non-eternal. How can he be Sarvashaktiman? In this manner, my teacher, my Sanskrit teacher, he is from Kerala. He used to ask a question. How can he be a Sarvashaktiman? He is Sarvashaktiman means everything is unmanifest in him. He is not all powerful, almighty. Even though we say almighty, all powerful, etc., but everything is unmanifest in him. He is Sarvashakti means one is Shakti, the other is Vyakti. What is manifest is Vyakti. Sarvashakti means anything that is unmanifest. He is the source of the unmanifest. Everything becomes unmanifest in him. Everything becomes manifest in him. Like the waves become manifest in water, and when they dissolve, they become unmanifest in water. In the same manner, the entire universe becomes manifest in Atma, and it becomes unmanifest in the Atma. And in that manner, he is called Sarvashaktiman. He is not almighty, all powerful. Adrishtam drashtu vijnanam. Dabram ityadi shasanat. Naivam vijnayam maya anyairva. Even Bhagavan cannot objectify the Atma. Even Bhagavan cannot objectify himself. I cannot objectify myself, my own existence. In the same manner, Bhagavan also cannot objectify his own existence. In this manner, I am Maya Anyairva, Param Brahma Katanchana. And that is what cannot be objectified is not limited, and therefore it is unlimited. And as unlimited, it is called Brahma. As unlimited, it is called Brahma. As infinite, it is called Brahma. It is infinite. And that is why Swami Sivananda used to say, its center everywhere, its circumference nowhere. This is its center everywhere means it has its center everywhere, and it has its circumference nowhere. That is what is called unlimited. The space is also, every bit of space is space only. And that way, its center is everywhere, and its circumference is nowhere. It's like a cycle, like a circular thing. It is its center everywhere, and its circumference nowhere. And it is accommodative of everything. Everything is in it. And therefore, the infinite accommodates everything. Without anything that is exclusive is limited. Anything that is exclusive is limited. All inclusive thing is unlimited. And therefore, iti katanchana. Katanchana means in no way. Katanchana, in no way can it be objectified by anybody, by me or by anybody. Even Bhagavan cannot objectify the Atma. Atma is something that is unobjectifiable. Atma is unobjectifiable, and therefore one's own existence is Atma. One's own being, one's own presence is Atma. You have to think of your presence. You think of your presence. Your presence is Atma. This is 39th verse. And the 40th verse is Swarupa Andaka Swarupa Avyavadhanabhyam. Swarupa, the Swarupa Avyavadhanabhyam. By nature, it is not separate from itself. By Vyavadhana, there is no distance, and it is not, there is no distance between itself and itself. There is no Swarupa. By nature, it is itself. By nature, it is Atma. And by Avyavadhanam also, it is by non-distance, by distance also, it is itself. There is no distance between it and it. Just as there is no distance between it and it, and there is no distance, and therefore it is Swarup Abhyudhanabhyam Jnana Lokaha. It is only pure consciousness. Consciousness has no consciousness is you, and therefore you are not separate from consciousness, and therefore you are not separate, you are being self-evident, and therefore Jnana Lokaha. Jnana Lokaha, Alokaha means light. You are the light of consciousness, the light of Jnana Lokaha, Swabhavataha. By nature, you are indeed Jnana Lokaha, you are indeed consciousness, Jnana Lokaha. And you are not separate from, by nature, you are not separate from yourself. Like the 10th man is not other than himself. The 10th man is not distanced from himself. And therefore, anything that is other than myself is distanced. But myself is not distanced from myself. There is no sense of division between me and me. And therefore, between consciousness and consciousness, there is no division. You can say it is my body, but it is my body. It is owned by you, all right. You can say that. But the body is me. You can't say that. And therefore, you can only say that the body is me, but the solely consciousness, you are not separate from yourself. As solely consciousness, as only consciousness, you are not separate from yourself. By nature, you are not separate from yourself. By any distance also, you are not separate from yourself. There is no distance also between you and you. Between you and you, there is no distance. And therefore, Swarupa Vyavaharabhyam Jnanalokaha Samantataha Jnanalokaha Swabhavataha Anya Jnana Anapekshutvat. And you don't have to, Swami in Uttarkashi said that I am aware of the objects and therefore I am conscious. And it's not like that. It is even when you are not aware of the objects, you have the anubhava of your existence. And therefore, just as in Sushupti, you are not aware of any object, but then still you are aware, your experience in terms of experience, you have your anubhava, you have your existence anubhava, you have the anubhava of darkness, and you have anubhava of darkness, and that means what? That means you don't require any. Your existence is independent of another object. Your object is your existence is independent of any other object. Objective knowledge. Anya jnana anapekshvatvat. You don't depend upon any other science. You don't depend upon your existence. Consciousness does not depend upon any other knowledge. I mean, consciousness does not depend upon a thought. Consciousness does not depend upon a thought. Thought is entertained. Consciousness is. And therefore, thought is dependent upon consciousness, but consciousness is independent of thought. This is very important. Anyajnana anapekshitvat jnatam chaiva sadamaya. And also, the existence of one's own existence, one's own self, is very much known to me, is very much known to everybody. Not only you know other things, you also know your existence. You don't have to use any eyes. You don't have to use any eyes. It is not Pramana Siddham. And everybody knows that, are you there? Yes, I am there. And therefore, you don't have to use your eyes to see yourself. You don't have to use your ears to hear yourself. You see yourself. You don't have to. It is self-evident, and therefore, your existence being self-evident, you see yourself. Everybody is aware of one's own existence, and therefore, there is no question of not being known, the self being not known. The self is always known. The self is always within experience. The self is very much within experience. And therefore, when the self is very much within experience, then you can only think and understand that everything is within experience. What is within experience? To understand that it is very much within experience is what is called jnanam. Jnanam is not something objectifying and knowing its adjectives. Non-objectifying, that it is very much within my experience. My existence is very much within my experience. This much, and everything, everything. If you see, everything is inseparable from me. That is one knowledge. And the second knowledge is, I am aware of my existence. I am aware of my existence. And therefore, in relation to something, it is the truth of it. In unrelated to anything, it alone is. It alone is. Advaitam alone is. And jnatam sarvam jnatam chaiva sadamaya. My own existence is known by me. It is not something that is dependent upon other thoughts. It does not depend upon thoughts. Thoughts depend upon it. I am conscious being. I am consciousness. Consciousness is something. You are conscious of something. If you say I am conscious of something, that doesn't mean that the consciousness depends upon the thought of the object. The thought of the object depends upon consciousness. And therefore, in relation to that object, the consciousness is the truth of that object. In the same manner, the whole universe is made of consciousness. And therefore, consciousness in relation to the universe, it is the karanam. It is the source, it is the material cause. But unrelated to anything, it alone is. It alone is. That is the tatparyam of tatparyam of the Shastra. That is the tatparyam of the Shastra. So the 40th verse is over. And the 41st verse, 41st verse says, Na anyehi na jyotish, na anyehi na jyotisha. Nanyehi, nanyehi, nanyena, na anyena, nanyena. By something else, it cannot be known. It cannot be illumined by another jyoti, another jyotisha. Jyotisha means by another light. Anyena jyotisha, karyam. It is not something that can be objectified by another light, karyam. Ravehe atma prakashane. Here Ravehe should be taken as two meanings. It is not something that can be illumined by Ravi. So sunlight, or the sun does not depend upon any other light, candle, etc. So in order to know that whether the sun is risen or not, you don't have to use the candle. In the same manner here also, in order to know that you are there, you don't have to depend upon a thought. And therefore, in the same manner, here also. Na anyena jyotisha karyam. Karyam means it is to be entertained. Consciousness is not entertained. Consciousness is eternal. Thought is entertained. Memory is entertained. Every emotion is entertained. Anything that is entertained is different. Even the whole universe is entertained. I find myself with the entertained universe. I don't entertain it. It is Ishvara's entertainment. It is Ishvara's entertainment as the Atma's entertainment. The universe is also entertained. The universe is entertained. Thought is entertained. But consciousness is not. The material for the entire universe, the material source for the entertained is not entertained. Is not entertained means is not thought of. It's not something. It's not something that is created. The universe is created. Thought is created. Thought is entertained. The universe is entertained. Is created. But consciousness is not created. Consciousness is nityam. It is eternal. And therefore you are eternal. And therefore it is said, na anyena jyotisha karyam. Ravehe atma prakashane. Atma prakashane means in order to know yourself, you don't have to atma prakashane. In order to know, in order that the Ravi has to be known, Ravi has to know. Ravi cannot be used to know. You know only the Ravi. The Ravi cannot know you. As pure consciousness, it is not known through Ravi. And therefore, Ravi, you know, Ravi is Drishyam. You are the Drashta. The conscious light is different from physical light. The sun has physical light. It doesn't have conscious light. You are aware of the sun. The sun is not aware of you because it doesn't have conscious light. Consciousness it doesn't have. Consciousness it doesn't have. And therefore consciousness is adhisthana of it. Consciousness is not identified with it. And therefore Ravehe, this is second meaning. So consciousness is just as in order to know that the consciousness is not something Ravi has risen or not. Ravi means the light, the sun. The sun has risen or not. You don't have to use light is not used, just as light is not used to know other light. We live in other lights. In the same manner, you don't use one more light, another light to use to know yourself. And therefore consciousness is self-evident. Consciousness is self-evident. And therefore swabodhana anya anapeksha. And therefore swabodhana, by knowing yourself, other than knowing yourself, anyena anapeksha. Anyena means by other lights. It is independent of other lights. And the knowing the self, knowing that the self exists, is independent of other lights. Is independent of other lights. Is independent of other lights. Swabodha, swabodhat, na anya bodha ichha. Anya bodha ichha means everything is known. Everything, bodha ichha means there is only need to know oneself. There is no need to know other things. The objects, what we call the objects of knowledge, are not objects of knowledge. Only the subject is the object of knowledge. Subject alone has to be known. There is a need to know oneself. There is no need to know this science, that science, etc. Actually speaking, there is no need to know anything other than one's own existence. And therefore, the swabodhat anya bodha ichha na bodhasya atma prakashane. One's own existence is necessary. Even though swabodhasya means swabodhasya, by the knowledge of one's own existence, swabodhasya atma prakashane, in illumining one's own existence, there is no need for other lights. Your own light is enough. It is known in its own light. The Atma is known in its own light. The Atma is known in its own light. Atma is known in its own light. Atma doesn't require another light to illuminate. Atma doesn't. Swabodhasya anya bodhanat. Anya Atma Prakashane. In illumining oneself, there is no need for another knowledge. You don't require a thought to know the self. You don't require to know the thought. You don't require a thought to know yourself. The Atma is known in its own light. It is not known in the light of the thought, and therefore, what is there is need only to know oneself. There is no need to know the other things, the other objects, etc. What we consider as objects of knowledge, they are only errors about Atma. They are only errors about Atma. Every object is only a distortion of the subject, and therefore it has to be known. It looks as though other than yourself, it is non-separate. It is inseparable from yourself, and therefore you alone are. It is no object is separate from yourself. No object is separate from yourself. Every object is inseparable from yourself. And the more of it we will see in the next class. Thank you very much. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much. And we will continue the classes like this only by God's grace. I am feeling all right now, a little better, but I still I think a long way to go to become normal. Thank you very much.